There is something special about seeing an older vehicle that has been well kept. Those vehicles that look like they just came off the showroom floor, yet they're 30, 40, 50 years old, sometimes even more. You know that owner has babied that vehicle. They've pampered it, they've done all the preventive maintenance to keep it in tip-top shape. If it ever did need repairs, it was done early on to keep it from having a major expense. They wouldn't hesitate one bit to drive down the entire length of Route 66 because they know that vehicle is going to make the trip. It catches your eye, turns your head, and you think, man, I wish I had something like that. Then you have people like me. Now, when my vehicle was new, I did take good care of it, and I made sure everything was done right. But somewhere along the way, I became neglectful. And pretty soon, I started letting things slip a little bit. Eventually, it didn't run as well as it used to. When it would start making noises, well, I would just turn the radio up because, man, that's what you do. Then it got its first ding, then another, then eventually some more. It was setting out in the elements and being subjected to Mother Nature's wrath. Man, blistering heat, sub-freezing temperatures, hailstorms, blizzards, tornadoes, the occasional snapped tree limb. Mother Nature was kicking its butt and taking its milk money, and I just watched. Now, it will still take those short little jaunts, and I'm not too terribly concerned about getting stranded, although it's always in the back of my mind. And as much as I would love to go someplace new, try something different, well, I know it's not going to get me there. It's probably going to cost me a lot of money if it does. So these two scenarios, which one resembles your credit the most? Much like your Social Security number, your credit score is going to be with you forever, and it's up to you on how well you've maintained it. Are you someone who listens to their engine, who monitors their dashboard gauges looking for potential issues? Or are you like me, and you just turn that radio up until the speakers crackle and pop? A lender is going to look at your credit score in much the same manner, and they're also going to dig a little deeper into other areas and decide what your risk factor is and whether or not they want to hop in that car and take that ride with you. So when you pull up to their bank, what are they going to see? Are they going to see that classic car that they can't help but admire? Are you coming in with your hands at 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, seatbelt properly fastened, signaling as you pull up? Or are you coming in a beat-up 97 Silverado with the tires squealing, Leonard Skinner's That Smell blasting through worn-out speakers that sound like a Kellogg's breakfast cereal while chucking an empty Jack Daniels bottle out the window? Hey people, I roll hard, man. This is how it is. In this episode, we're going to discuss what lenders look at and hopefully give you some tips on what you can do for preventive maintenance and keep your buying power tip-top shape and running smooth. So hop on in, take a few hits off the information we pass around because everybody knows the burnouts always have the good stuff. Time to mash the gas and let's smoke.
Welcome to the W-K Burnouts studio. I am Christina.
And I'm Dustin.
Alan behind the scenes because we got to keep our animals in the cages.
Nice. What are we going to talk about today, Christina?
Today, so last week we talked a little bit about understanding credit, you know, just kind of the basics, just to kind of get started. Now let's talk a little bit more about credit and buying a car.
Because that's what we sell here.
That's what we do. So one of the things that kind of the main purpose is, or the main person behind buying a car is the lender, you know, who's going to loan you that money and what they expect. So first of all, let's break it down. There's like 3 categories so your high credit scores are considered prime. Okay, those are the good ones, the higher scores. Then there's your mid, and they're non-prime. Doesn't mean it's bad. They're just
in the middle.
Just in the middle.
Just in the middle.
You're good. You know, you're just
okay.
Yeah. You could go higher, but you don't want to go lower.
You don't want to go lower.
And then there's your subprime or deep subprime. Now those require a little bit more verification of a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
in the form of stipulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
And stipulations, just an example. Let's see. So pay stub, recent pay stubs.
Most recent pay stub.
Yeah.
Sometimes 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Depending on where you fall in the credit thing.
Yep.
Right?
Correct. Not a written letter from your boss or your mom or whoever saying that you work at Johnny's roadside.
Yeah, it's got to actually
diner.
be a paycheck stub. Or if you're a small business or something like that, or self-employed, then could be your tax return. Could be
bank statement,
bank statements.
Yes.
Yeah, stuff like that for small business owners.
Yep, showing deposits.
Yeah,
proof of residence.
Yeah,
proof
of residence would be like a utility bill.
Yes,
right. So maybe there's some things that don't qualify, but the easiest one is like a utility bill, a voter ID card, I think, where, stuff that like shows that you live at that residence.
Yep.
Not another bill from another loan place for another loan. It would be like a utility bill for that address.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. Another one would be, references. So they may ask for references, kind of the average is about 5, just in case they cannot reach you, then they're going to
go through your
downline. Go through the downline. So on average, usually what we've seen, it's not set in stone, but usually about the mid 6s and up, you usually don't have to bring that. However, if you are rebuilding or you're kind of unsure, go ahead and print it off, bring a folder.
Yeah, the more that stuff you have with you, either way, it's going to be good. If you're unsure of your standing with your credit, or if you go into it thinking, I don't even know if I can get this loan, then you probably ought to bring like some stuff. I mean, the first thing you should probably like have a job and a residence, not a PO box, stuff like that.
Right.
And then also have some stuff to bring in, and
Otherwise, it makes for a
really
it can be done,
day.
But it's a long day.
You got to go back and get this.
Yeah. Or remember passwords. Oh my gosh.
Oh man.
You know how many people?
We've spent all day with people at the computer just trying to get them logged into their work's payroll site so that they can print off a proof. Their insurance, their utilities, all this stuff. I mean, hey, that's what we're here for. So sometimes people just need the help doing that stuff. I mean, it could just be they don't have a printer. But a lot of people bring us stuff on their phone, which you can't send to a bank.
Nope.
So we like screenshot it, email it, print it, scan it, send it to the bank. Just
it's a process.
It's a process, and that's what we do.
Yep, that is what we do, and something that not only your score is going to determine whether you get approved or don't get approved. A lot of things that lenders look at is your ability to pay, your stability of your job time, of your residence, and your worthiness. So ability to pay, proof of income. We talked about that. Not a letter from your boss.
Right.
It has to be printed year to date, all that fun stuff.
Yeah.
Your stability. This is I find a big factor.
It seems to be a big factor of the banks. And it kind of makes sense when you think about it. I mean, if you're borrowing money from them with the collateral of the car.
Mm-hmm.
Is if stuff goes wrong, they need to know where to come pick that car up.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah. And it happens.
So if they see big lapses in, residence, job time. If you just moved from Washington to Missouri and 7 months before that, you lived in Connecticut, they're going to be like, man, I really want to give a car loan for this.
Let's check. Well, and I've been waiting to bring this up.
Yes.
Couch surfer Joe.
Oh, you mean the dude that doesn't have a residence but lives at different friends' houses?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And
we don't really want to call him a couch surfer, Christina.
Well,
because couch surfing is actually a lifestyle.
He has a profile on couch surfing.
Well, it's like a travel type site I found where the reason I did is because Sedalia's on the Katy Trail, and a lot of people riding their bikes on the Katy Trail just want like a person's yard to set up their tents, right? Yep. So they're not setting up downtown on the cut, and I was close to downtown. So I was like, cool, get on there. Nobody ever came or messaged me and was like, hey, we're riding free. Because that's what I put it on there for, was so they could put tents in the backyard and have barbecue for them. We'd have a good time, bicyclist people, right? Well, it's a thing. It's called couch surfing.
Nobody swiped right on your.
Yeah. So nobody ever wanted to
hang out
set
in your
up
yard.
a tent in my yard or anything. So, there might still be a profile. I haven't looked for a long time.
But but think about it, this couch surfer Joe, he's like, hey, Dustin, can I borrow $500?
You're like, man, where are we going to come collect this $500?
Like, when are you going to pay me back? Or do you have a job? Like, where are you going to, think of that.
You're going to ask $500 a few questions too, right?
Yeah. But when you're a bank, yes, it's a bank, but there's not an unlimited, it's a business. They have to. They don't just pick money off trees.
Yeah. And sometimes
it's a business.
In the grand scheme of things, they still lose sometimes, when it comes down to it. But
quite often. Yeah. But
that's why there's stipulations. That's why they ask for stuff. It's not, it's not like you're a criminal or anything like that, dude. It's just them trying to protect themselves. And in some cases, it might help protect you, because if you don't have the stuff that they need to get a loan from them, you probably don't need to be getting a loan for anything, right? You get some other stuff together, be at your job longer, save up some more money down, stuff like that.
Definitely helps.
If you can couch surf, then you can carpool.
True story.
Sometimes that might just be what you need to do for a little while before everything's in a row. Then you go get your new Chevy Silverado. Right?
Well, you're probably going to start with a Chevy Spark.
Sedan. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, what'd you say?
You got to learn to crawl before you walk.
Bingo.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
All right.
And then also the last thing, worthiness. So if you have credit in the past, if you've built up a little bit, then they're, of course, they're going to look at that. But so many banks right now, they're doing like a second chance, or whatever the case may be, because they understand bad things happen to good people.
Yeah,
it happens.
Yeah, totally.
But if it's repetitive, okay, there's going to come a point where it's like,
where nobody wants to give you a loan, except for the buy here, pay here place, maybe.
And there comes a point where eventually you can't go there either. So just work on it.
Yeah.
Ability to pay, willingness to pay, and stability. Stability, yes. Which also, got another one about ability to pay, debt to income.
Debt to income ratio. And that's important. And you probably don't know what yours is. Right?
You think you do, but
you may think you do, but look at the big picture. I mean, there's a definite ratio that is applied to everybody's, credit.
Yep. So auto lenders, usually what they tend to look at is I can't speak today. There's a front end debt to income and there's a back end.
Right.
Okay. When you're getting a loan for those type of things, auto loan, mortgage, so forth, they look at the back end debt to income. Say that 5 times fast.
Back end debt to income, but
yeah, debt. So your back end debt to income is your auto loans, your mortgages, your credit card debt. It is truly loans that you have taken out. Front end is your milk bill, your gas bill, your
utilities,
like your clothing bill, your entertainment, that you put aside. So they don't care. They do care, but they don't. That's not what they take.
They don't factor it in.
Yeah,
that's why. That's why, like we talked about, what an ideal debt to income ratio is.
Yep,
it's like 30
to 36%, somewhere in.
And you're like, wait, I make a ton more money than that. Yeah, dude, but they're not factoring in, because you're supposed to factor in what your actual your operating expenses are: food, gas, the things that aren't on your credit report, right?
Yep.
If they're going to take a wild shot in the dark, they don't ask you how many kids you have on your credit, application. Yeah. So they want you to be at 33 because they don't know what else is going on in your life. So, we know, and that you could afford this thing, but overall the equation for the banks and what they loan based off of says you need to,
slow down. Yeah. I think 50% of back-end debt to income is considered the danger zone. Yeah. So like red flag.
Big red flag. And I know you're like, well, that's just 50% of my income. Well, it's 50% of your gross income too, which take half of that 50% for taxes anyhow, and Social Security at least. Yeah.
Insurance and all that. Yeah. Health insurance, all that stuff.
An even smaller portion that's for your So if you're at 50, one more loan, one more Lowe's card or something could make it so that you're not able to pay all of your stuff.
What if something happens?
Anything happens.
Yeah. Dude, then how are you going to pay? Like it's there's a method to the madness. Yeah. And just be responsible. But one question that we do get asked often, and I don't know if I'm on track with this, but I just thought of this, is somebody's coming in to cosign for, their son or their nephew, whatever the case may be. Yeah. And they have good credit. Okay, great. Well, we're going to use son is building up credit. He needs a vehicle. And what better way, I'll go in and co-sign for you, I have good credit. Well,
and you do.
Yes,
you do.
However, if your debt to income is a little,
you just built a new house. Yeah. Got you and your spouse new cars that have loans on them. Yep. Right. So you sometimes need to think about that, because it can be a little embarrassing. I mean, you got your stuff together. Everything's good. Yeah. But debt to income ratio comes into it. And the bank is like, dude, they just built this house, already have 2 auto loans. Right. There's a lot going on this bureau right now. We don't want to add another auto loan for Junior to get, to co-sign for Junior to get a new truck. Yeah. Junior might have to ride a bike for a little while until he can get it on his own or something.
But one of the things, a lot of people don't understand when they co-sign, you are responsible for that loan.
100% is responsible as the other person on it. You are the same person. Yep. They don't if the person you co-sign for, if Junior misses a payment, they don't call you and hey,
they don't give you 30 days, another 30 days to pay it.
You missed a payment. If Junior misses the payment, it's the same. It's not like since you're second on the deal doesn't mean that you're any less responsible. You're 100% as responsible as the person you co-sign for.
Yes.
So they're counting on you, the bank and everybody is counting on you to make sure that the person you co-signed for makes that payment on time every month. Yep. If they get in the habit of making it 30 days late every month, guess what's on your credit report? Yep. 30-day late payment after 30-day late payment. Yep. You may have never done that in your life and never would.
And you didn't know. You thought Junior said, I'm making my payments.
He's making the payments. Yeah. He's not behind. But he's paying them late, right? So keep that in mind before you co-sign for anybody. You are just as much buying that vehicle as they are, and you're just as much responsible for making on-time payments back as they are. Yep. So don't let it get twisted, because it can. It's definitely your responsibility just as much as it is theirs.
Absolutely, and there's a lot of people that ask that. Well, he's paying the payment. I'm just signing. Well,
how that makes sense for the bank anyhow. They're letting him do it because you're saying you're going to make him do it, or it's going to hurt your credit. Yep. So that's it.
Yep. And one of the other things, a lot of, especially people that have good credit, great credit, or will say, "Hey, don't send my application over to a whole bunch of different lenders," and in the terms of, don't shotgun it, is what it said. Yeah. Well, through my research on Experian.com, I found that the banks within a time frame of 14 days, that when you have an auto inquiry, whether it's 1 or it's I'm just 17, 30, whatever.
17.
Yes. I think of John Bayless. I think, or they take that and within a 14-day span, they know you are shopping for a better rate or a different vehicle model, different vehicles. Yeah. But they will condense that down to one
inquiry.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. One inquiry. So if you think, oh my gosh, I'm so-and-so they dropped my points, my score down.
If you're watching your credit app while you're car shopping for that whole 14 days, it's going to show a ton of inquiries.
Yeah.
All those go down to 1 after that 14-day period.
There's a process. Yeah.
Because you could be looking at a new GMC or a new Ford.
Right.
And having your ducks in a row, you want to make sure that whatever special interest rate they're offering you qualify for.
Yep.
So it'll show 2 inquiries from both of them. But at the end of the 14 days, it goes down to 1.
Yeah.
And also, like with all the ordering vehicles that we're doing, you don't want to get pre-approved or you don't want to get approved on the auto loan too early because that approval is only good for 30 days.
Yeah.
Or actually that.
So if you, there's 2 things that we want to go here with, but the first one is if you submit your finance application into a dealership or you're in there and they run your information. We, as a dealership, hold that application for 30 days where we don't have to rerun it.
Yeah.
If you come in on June 1st and we pull it and we got everything done, ready to go, but you're hem-hoeing around, you're not sure if you want this one or if you want to wait and see what happens. And so you come back and you're on August 2nd. Guess what? The process starts all over again.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Yeah.
And the other thing we talked about this before was pre-approvals. If you are on like drivenow.com, or you see the advertisement, please don't just go online and run all those pre-approvals because there's a lot of stipulations on the back end and miles of a vehicle, the year of the vehicle, the value of the vehicle.
We've talked about this before. If you get a pre-approval for a loan for a vehicle and you didn't have to tell them what vehicle it is, that is not a pre-approval for an amount on a vehicle. Like if you get it pre-approved for $25,000, right? And then you go find like a 300,000 mile Range Rover for $25,000. They're going to be like, no, we ever did this. That wasn't for that car because we didn't ask you what car. So some of that stuff is, trust your local bank, your credit union with if you're going to go get like pre-checkout, for credit, your local bank, your credit union, your USAA, that kind of Navy Federal, that kind of stuff, right? Yeah. Not like the one that sends you random letters and it says like an interest rate on the front of the envelope or something like that. That's not
up to.
Yeah, that's not what you're looking for, probably.
No.
So
no. And one thing Alan has it pulled up on here, I completely skipped over this part. However, one of the most important things, Dustin, if you want to talk about it, is how much you end up paying back over your rate, your rate.
Yeah. So you buy a car for $37,000, right? And you have really good credit. So you get like 3% interest on it. You do a 60-month note. Or you could buy the same $37,000 car, but you have a subprime credit. You pay 18% interest or something, right? Way, way, way more interest. Same term, same purchase price.
Same car.
But the overall payment is going to be a couple $100 difference.
A month difference.
And the overall cost, if you go the full 60-month term of the loan, is going to be like over $10,000 difference. It's going to be a massive, massive difference just because you have good credit or not so good credit. So, you might get approved to buy the $37,000 car just like the other person did, but overall, at the end of the 5 years, they paid $10,000 less for the car,
right?
In all of their loan payments than you did. So that's kind of a good way to do the figuring on how that interest rate really, really affects you
Personally,
not just
monthly.
every month, but like in the long term, if you look at what you actually, I mean, you'll see it on the contract when you get done buying your car, it'll have a total cost of purchasing this vehicle, provided you go with a full term of the loan and pay back the loan and every single payment till payment zero. You know, it'll tell you that your overall cost was, you know, instead of 37, if you had good credit, it was 39. If you made every payment, you paid that much in interest. But it'll say if you have really bad credit, you know, overall purchase price was 37, but the overall cost to buy the vehicle
50,000
was like 50 grand.
Yeah.
So keep that stuff in mind. I mean, it's all there in front of you, but don't rush through that stuff. We've got people that will.
Mandy loves
to talk. She would explain it so well to you, but you got to listen and you got to, you know, this should probably help. I mean, if you have questions about this stuff, we're really good at helping. We feel like this is a really good, you know, maybe not a satellite view, maybe a helicopter view of the whole credit journey and
we want to be
buying a car,
a resource, you know, a trusted resource. We deal with this every day, and granted, not every situation is the same.
They're all different.
We understand, you know, we understand that. But one example I think of with what you were just talking about, the payment, you have Sally call up, my cousin, she got this pretty little Traverse, red, blah, 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 this, and she pays $400 a month. And I tried to get a third row vehicle Traverse, and my payment was going to be like $700. Is that voice good? That might be kind of squeaky.
I don't know if that'll come through. If it doesn't, we'll just voice over something. Alan's like, oh, man.
They told me they didn't like my singing earlier, so I'm just trying to, you know.
Sing. No.
But anyways, so
it's different for everybody, right?
He's saying, no, don't sing.
Don't sing. No, we're not going to let her sing.
So it's different for everybody. It's the same exact vehicle, but Sally pays $400 a month, and whatever pays $700. There's different credit factors. Sally may have put money down. I mean, there's
tons of different
things.
Stuff. So not any case is exactly the same, like ever really. Yeah. So
if you want to know, if you have questions, it never hurts to call and talk to somebody, especially here, because we have the most laid back salesman.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, we do.
They're laid back and cool.
We just want to be a resource, you know, and
it's not like when you come in to talk about it, you have to like, okay, go ahead and sign here and go ahead and sign up, buy a car. No. We're here for a long time. You can come back. We can talk about it here. We can talk about it like 15 different visits before you decide you even want to look at a car. That's what we're here every day.
That's what we do.
Might as well talk to you. Be fine, right?
Mandy, Mandy loves it.
She would love it.
Yeah, she's off on Thursdays, so. But
all right. Well,
anything else? I mean, that's kind of the main stuff.
That kind of covers the stuff we wanted to tell you. Let us know what you think. If this is helpful, if it's informative, if it's, you know, if it's good. Right?
I get it. You took that over because I cannot say the right word.
It's okay though. They were the right words. It's okay.
Informative. Did you find this funny? Informational?
Did you find it funny? Were we funny?
But we just, again, we want to be a resource. We want to make this entertaining, and we want to make sure that you make an informed decision.
Yes.
You know, and don't think you're a bother. So call us, come in, let us know, you know, what we can do to help. But if you found this informational, if you found this funny, please share and like our page. Let me tell you, they make fun of me all the time.
Just
but anyways,
subscribe, thumbs up, all that stuff. Tell your friends, share it.
Yep.
We have t-shirts, you know, going around and stuff. So
we do.
I don't know if that makes you big time, but
we see you. If we see you wearing one, we'll
give you a high five for sure.
Yeah.
At least. I mean,
anyways.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
We will cruise on by and pick you up next week. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We're supposed to look at that camera.
Right. Bye.
One of these days we'll get the ending right.
That was good.
That was good.
This has been a W-K Burnouts production.